Hello, everyone. Hello. Just waiting to go live. I think I am live. There we go. So good to see you. It's Monday. It's Carla. And here I am ready to do a little recap of our Monday mentor call this morning. Super great topic that we covered today on making decisions. Decision making is such a huge part of our human experience. And so we discussed what kinds of practices we can put in place so that we are making good decisions. The question that I asked today was, what happens when you second guess yourself? Such a big piece of what holds us back, what gets us stuck, right? People talked about really big things happening. Obviously we have that overthinking feeling, that ruminating. We ask everybody else instead of being able to make the decision ourselves. We can be impulsive. We feel depleted. We might have regret. We might feel nauseous or have tension. So many things happen to us when we feel like we are indecisive or unable to make a decision. So our mantra this week is, I make good decisions and stand by them. I love this. It's almost two parts, right? This idea that I can make good decisions for myself. And then the second part that is about grace, really about whether the decision is good or bad, I stand by what I chose, right? So we'll just start by talking a little bit about decision making. We make hundreds of decisions, these little micro decisions that we have to make every single day. From what am I going to wear, whether or not I'm going to clean my teeth, what am I cooking for dinner, which things on my to-do list am I going to do, am I going to omit, am I going to feel bad about, whether or not we're going to do some daily practices, what time you're going to get out of bed. All of these decisions we make throughout the day, most of the time they feel a little bit like routine, like we're making them sort of from this semi-unconscious place. It's just like going through the motions. But I will suggest to you that when we get more intentional about these little decisions, when we have to make bigger decisions like, should I start or end a relationship? Should I apply for this job? Should I start up a new business that I'm, as an entrepreneur? Should I retire? Should I move? Should I save for a vacation? So these bigger decision-making processes can get us really stuck, right? We can feel really debilitated by our indecisiveness around these things. But if we practice on our little decisions a little bit more, that's really going to help us to have a foundation for decision making. So I shared this morning 7 practices and 7 ideas and just ways of sort of thinking that help me and have helped me to become a better decision maker and to really live and stand by the decisions that I make in my life. So the first one is trust yourself, right? This is such a big piece of why we get caught in feeling indecisive. When we can develop and listen to our own inner wisdom, right? Our own intuition, gut feeling, whatever it is that you call it. For me, it's inner wisdom. We are so much more in tune to making a decision by ourselves. So we want to really just develop that trust for ourselves, because it's so true that you are the best person to make decisions for your life. And so one of the things that we have to practice is stop looking outside of ourselves to other people to make decisions for us, right? Number 2 I shared is develop self-confidence. And these two go hand in hand. When we have self-confidence, we believe that we are capable and able to make decisions for ourselves. We are able to show up for ourselves. And so that's like generally in the world, but it's also in these specific situations that we find ourselves in when we have to make decisions. So a couple of things you want to work on to develop this self-confidence. The first is, and you've heard this from me before, quieting the voice of our inner critic. Our inner critic is that ruminating, overthinking, analytical voice that is constantly telling us that we're making a mistake. Don't do this. This is not for you. You're not the kind of person who this works out for. That's the wrong direction. That's the wrong direction. Don't go over there. All of these things. Our inner critic is always nattering at us, basically telling us how to stay small and safe. It is definitely there originally from this place of protection, but often now it just gets in the way of us feeling decisive and strong and confident. And then the second thing is, in order to make decisions that make us feel safe and good, we need to practice healthy boundaries, healthy personal boundaries, right? So when we can be certain about what it is that what the rules are for us with different relationships, then it's much easier to make a decision based on that, from that place. Number 3, know your core values and beliefs. Listen, when we are aligned with what we truly believe and what matters to us most, it is so much easier to make a decision, right? When you have this understanding of what's in here at your core, you stop using the outside world to influence what you decide to do. And instead, you're just really clear about what feels like it works for you. And so when you have a decision to make, you can use those core values and that belief system to help you with, maybe a pro and con list. Is this in alignment with who I want to be and how I want to show up in the world? Number 4, make decisions out of love for yourself. When we listen to our ego or these external forces, we are making decisions from a place of fear. This fear might be fear that you're being judged by others, fear that people are going to be disappointed in you, the fear of what comparison to others feels like, fear of failure, fear of success. All of these fears come into play when we're working from an egoic place or from an external forces place, other people's opinions of us, right? When we operate out of self-love, it means we are gentle, kind, compassionate, forgiving, caring to ourselves during the process of making a decision and then also after the fact. So no matter what happens after you've made a decision, whether it works out or it doesn't work out or somewhere in between, we have this beautiful self-compassion that we have cultivated so that we can show up and still have self-love, right? Number 5, do other things. So this is one of my favorite practices or techniques for getting out of my own way. So often when we are in a place where we need to make a pretty serious decision, even not a serious decision, like what outfit should I wear, at the speaking gig, and I was saying this morning, all of us, you can put your hand up too if you've had those days where like literally your whole wardrobe is on your bed because you can't make a decision about what to wear. So this will work also, this technique will also work in those moments, right? Or what you need to have for dinner. When we can get outside of the ruminating part, right? We want to park the decision-making process for a minute so that we can get more present, right? So here's some ideas. Being creative, so doing something that feels artsy or creative, or playing, doing something fun, being in nature, moving your body, resting. All of these get us out of our head and connected to our inner wisdom, right? and our present momentness. So we become mindful when we're in these moments instead of thinking about what has happened and using that as the roadmap, or what we are trying to predict to happen, which then we use as a roadmap, right? Instead, we want to just be really clear for what we need in this moment to show up for us. So often when you've done some other activity in these sort of creative, fun, play, joyful movement places, right? Sing a song, anything, right? You are going to return to this decision-making process with either a clear answer, because it's like you've put all the other stuff has fallen away, or you're going to get really clear on why you're afraid to make a decision, which is then you can start to clear that up and make the decision even easier to make. Okay, number 6, tap into your natural gifts. So I invited people on the call right then and there to start writing down a list of your natural gifts. We need to know that list, right? It's so important for us to know what makes us uniquely us, right? So start writing down, what are the character traits that make you uniquely you? What are the things that come to you very naturally, where you go, I'm just, or I've always done this, I've never really thought about it. What are those things for you? It could be things like you're a great listener, or you talk to people easily, or you're non-judgmental or very compassionate. It can be those kinds of things, as well as I'm really great with numbers, or in my case, I'm very organized, or I love to write, or I love to build community and have community around me. All of these things. So you want to know the whole list. Keep adding to it. Keep it out, so that when you're in situations where you need to problem solve, like making a decision, you have this list available to you, so that you're not in this like frozen place, but instead you go into one of your natural gifts and start using it to help you unlock and get unstuck. So I shared this morning, for example, I'm a very organized person, and I also love to write. And so one of or two of the things that I do when I need to make a decision is I create charts that help me to put all the details into some sort of order, so that I can figure out where what things make sense, what things don't make sense, pros, cons, all of that. So I usually use charts, and I make something. Maybe you're a spreadsheet person, maybe you're a pie graph person, whatever it is for you. This is one of the things I do with my organizational skills. The other thing I do is write a lot. So I use my journal and reflect on all the things that are going on in my brain, try to be really, really intuitive about what my fears are, what's going on. And because I write it very naturally, I have this reflection back to myself about what's going on in that overthinking brain, right? And it allows me to get really clear on two of the pillars, self-awareness and self-acceptance, right? I accept myself more because I'm seeing my writing. I can either be more gentle, or I'm already being gentle, and I can also be more aware of, is there a fear showing up? So utilize your talents. You have a naturally intuitive way to reach decisions when you connect to it. I think that's so powerful, right? Yes, there are some techniques that are out there, but if they don't work for you, use your own. Make yours up, right? Number 7, wonder what the very best outcome of your decision will feel like. Okay, we spend so much time in negative thinking. The very first thing we do when we have a decision to make is start focusing on what the worst case scenario is. What is the disaster that could happen? What is the, catastrophe? Really, we spend so much time there. What if we were to start envisioning the best possibility? I invite you to spend more time than you are right now thinking about, what if this turned out extremely beautifully? What if this turned out better than I could ever imagine, right? And so I want you to take some time to really think about the outcomes as a pizza, right? With all different slices, and that one of the slices could be that this really doesn't work out. But it's not the whole pie, right? That there's all these other places that this could turn out, and one of them is, reaching for the stars. This decision could change my entire life, so in a positive, impactful, empowered way. So I want you to spend equally as much time there as you do in the one where you say this is not going to work out, and then all the little places in between that, so that you have a rich and balanced idea of what's possible. Because we know decisions aren't always going to work out perfectly. We know that sometimes decisions go sideways. We know that we might have to make a decision and then, go over here and make another decision and another decision, because decisions are not just like, once I've made it, that's it, right? So we want to have this balanced feeling so that when we're in the decision-making process, we can feel like we're okay. And then afterwards, we're not only focused on the negative stuff. And I had a bonus sort of idea for everybody today that kind of came to me as we were talking, and that is that when we're in decision-making process, especially in the aftermath of making a decision, know that we can be grateful for the blessings and the lessons of every decision we make. So if something doesn't work out, there are lessons to learn, and those lessons are going to really influence us going forward, right? If we learn from them, we can absolutely add them into our toolbox next time, so we know, oh yeah, I have to, do this thing, or this has to be a little bit different, or I learned this really great thing about myself. So we can be grateful for that lesson. And then there's always blessings. They might take some time to show themselves, but there's always a blessing. I was sharing this morning that, I used to have to, in like over a decade ago, when I was, a single mom, really had so little money, at the end of every month, I would have to make decisions that kind of felt like a rock in a hard place, which I know so many of you feel like you don't really have any choice, but of course we always do. And I would have to decide whether to spend those last dollars on a bill, or laundry, because I had to go to the laundromat, or milk and a few basics. And every month I had to make these really, not so fun decisions about how I was going to spend these last few dollars. What's incredible about that is the gratitude that I have for that life, because now, when this is no longer my life situation, I am so immensely filled with grace and gratitude and compassion and all of these things, because I know what it felt like to have to be making that kind of decision, and I know that there's so much joy in the life that I have now. So I have optimism. I know I was resilient, all of these things. So much gratitude for that lesson, because it changed the trajectory of my life 100%, right? And if I had just been in the ugliness of that and not ever taken those moments and felt grateful for the fact that I even had $10 to spend still on milk and pasta, or to pay off a bill, or go to the laundromat because the kids needed clothes for their sports things, or whatever the way that I divvied up that money, I know that gratitude that I did feel changed my life, right? So gratitude is always present in all of these things. So those are the lessons that I shared about, that I have learned about making decisions from this really beautiful place. And so our mantra again is, I make good decisions and stand by them. I want you to think about a decision that you're making this week or this month, and apply, see which one of these you could apply to that to create some ease in your decision-making process. And I just want to end with the masterclass. The Pillars of Self-Love Masterclass series is starting tomorrow. I'm super excited. I think I'm going to do a little video later on this evening just to get people who have been thinking about it. If you have questions, or I'll do a live so you can ask your questions on there. But I just want you to know that first off, it's not too late to register, because there's nothing you needed to do to be ready to be in the masterclass. It's 6 weeks long and starts tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern. And so I will share the link again in the comments. If you're ready, invest in yourself. You deserve it. This is going to really propel you to a whole new level of self-love. It is going to really change your life, because you're going to see yourself through a whole new lens. And so you're going to, through that lens, be able to attract and lead yourself to the things that you want and deserve in your life. So I encourage you, if you've been thinking about it, to absolutely register and come on the call tomorrow. If you are still uncertain and you want to chat about it, or we can DM, absolutely send me a private message, and I'd be happy to get on a quick call with you to help you through the decision-making process. All right, take good care of yourselves. Have a beautiful week. We're in a very difficult time right now in the world. There's war, obviously, all over, and also our prayers are with the people of the Ukraine. And so I want to just say that the love you give yourself translates into the love you can give people who are close to you, and that ripples out into the world. And so it's so important to take good care of yourself so that you can be available to take good care of other people. All right, be good to one another. I am so happy that you are here with me. I send you so much love and wish you a great start to your week. Take good care. Bye.